I'm at 70%.
You are live. All right, here we go. Let's see. Can y'all hear me out there, folks? We've been back here talking a little bit, getting ready to do this show. Let's see. Let me look at the comments. See who we got in. All right, let's see. Yeah, we're live right now, Wilmot. It says
Okay.
we are.
Good deal.
All right, folks, we're going to do a little recruiting update. Got my brother Chilmont here. So that's good. Just like we did last week. We're going to talk a little recruiting. We're going to talk about how'd you bring Bambi. Bambi always enjoys a live show.
Yep. She sleeps through it.
Let's see what this one. Let me put in a couple of, see who all's here today. Let's see. Stingray's here. Let's see. Then John Golden's here. Tyler Harrison, etc. We got a whole bunch of folks here. Oh, yeah, we got 33 already.
Nice.
Yeah, folks, we got the biggest thing we're going to talk about is Bennett Warren. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Kai Bates, too, missing out on him, darn it. We're going to talk all things recruiting. We're going to talk about the financial situation with UT, which is kind of shockingly good. I didn't realize how well they were doing.
I'm telling you, man, winning cures all ills. And, you go around Knoxville and probably in Nashville too, just about anywhere, everybody's wearing UT gear. I mean, how much UT gear have we sold the last 2 years? I'd hate to think. Let alone the ticket sales sold out. I think we were, what was it? It was like 1.2 million people went to UT games last year or something like that. We were like the number one draw, or like a number 2 draw in the country.
Oh yeah, it's something else, but we're going to get into that too. But first, let's talk about Bennett Warren. Now, this is a guy. He's 6'7". He's 330 pounds. He's a top 100. He's, I think, the number 8 offensive lineman. He has decided that he's going to commit on. Let me pull this up. Pull it down here. Oh, wait.
Monday.
Hold on. I'll get it. Oh, wait a minute.
Oh, the man.
Yeah, I've got it figured out. Everybody chill here. Share. All right. That should have done it. Here we go. And let's make that a little bit bigger. Yeah, breaking up Bennett Warren, that he's going to make his college decision on the 31st. We do not have a time for that. It says here 6'8". So he's grown an inch in the last week. So he's a top 100 offensive tackle. He is high on the Vols. He said that his visit to the Vols was the best one he's had by far. By far, he said.
Nice.
So that made me feel really good.
Come on down, Bennett.
And the thing is, we need him.
Yeah.
I mean, we really need this guy. And he knows it. That was another thing that he talked about. He said Coach Heupel made it very clear to him, said, we really need you. You would be a great asset for us. And the reason we need him badly, if we were in the ACC or we were in the Big 12 or something, it wouldn't be that big a deal. But we've got to deal with Georgia, Alabama, LSU, teams like that. And they have these defensive linemen that are just monsters. I mean, they're so dynamic and athletic. You've got to have an outstanding offensive tackle to protect Nico is really what it boils down to. And the thing is, after Nico, there's going to be another 5-star. Don't you worry. There will be another 5-star right behind him, and right behind him, there's going to be another 5-star. Because the thing about Coach Heupel is he's not going to have any trouble whatsoever getting 5-star quarterbacks. No. And I told you, I've been saying it for a year, he's not going to have any trouble getting whatever wide receiver he wants long term. And sure enough, Mike Matthews, he got Staley, the top 100 guy. We might get this Amari Jefferson, and then this Ryan Wing goes in right now, another 5-star.
I know.
It's only a matter of time before these wide receivers and quarterbacks realize this is where you need to come if you want to make the Benjamins in the NFL, because you're going to put up crazy numbers
That's it. You're going to light it up.
Oh, yeah. You're going to win Receiver of the Year, the Biletnikoff Award. You could win the Heisman.
That's another thing. Here in the next couple of years, we're going to get the Heisman one way or the other. It's going to be
going to happen.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able – when they throw in that 35, 36, 37 touchdowns with 3 interceptions, and he throws for an average of 310 yards a game and all that, it's going to be real hard to stop him, especially in the SEC. You know, it's not like he'd be doing that in the ACC. And our quarterbacks, first of all, George is it – oh, crap. George is it McKnight?
Yeah,
McIntyre. George McIntyre, 5-star Tennessee guy for 2025. Looks like we're in real good shape for him, and he's a legit 5-star. But on top of that, we've got this kid from Mississippi, Deuce Knight. And a lot of people don't realize, I didn't realize that Hendon Hooker ran a 4.940. Now, it looked like he ran a 4.540 because he was just so elusive, but he ran a 4.940. Deuce Knight, who wants to come to Tennessee, and he's about like number 60 or 70 in the country as far as a recruit. He runs a 4.540, and he's got a great arm. He would be a Hendon Hooker 2.0, only a little faster. He's a lefty. He slings it from the left side. So one of those two guys is going to commit for 2025. Of course, we've already got Merklinger, who at the time that he committed was number 67. He got dropped in the recruiting. Hadn't even played a game, so I don't really know what that's about. That was on 247, I think. But I've seen that guy's highlights. He's excellent. He's very good. He's elusive. He's a dual threat, but he's got a fantastic arm. And he was a great get for us. And by the time the end of the year, he'll be back in that 50 range without doubt, because he's going to put up some gaudy numbers. So I just feel fantastic about where the Vols are. I mean, just.
Well, the thing is with like Nico, you know, hopefully, fingers crossed, it'll be Joe Milton this season. But starting next season, Nico will have over a year and a half here in this program. And he should be able to hit the ground running.
That guy's going to be fantastic. I'm telling you, he's going to be fantastic.
And the buzz on him with Milton, but yeah,
the buzz on Nico. I'm telling you, he's a generational quarterback. He just is.
Yeah,
he's perfect for this offense. That's why they went all in on him.
Yeah,
they literally went all in on him.
Yeah, I've heard rumors.
I told you your shirt was going to be a big hit, Wilmot.
Oh, they like the shirt?
That shirt's a big hit everywhere we go.
I know.
Didn't you wear that on the golf course the other day? You wore the white one.
That was the white one. That's the one with the white background. This is the orange.
See, I'm mad. Jan got us those 2 shirts, and I gave you mine. I didn't like it at first.
Yeah.
Everybody likes it. I'm like, Dak Nabbit, I should have kept that shirt. I'd have worn it on the show.
Now, the white one is a different brand. This one's a Columbia. But you can go to the Columbia store and get those there in Sevierville. But they've got them there. But, yeah, I've gotten more compliments. This one and the white one especially, I've gotten so many compliments on it because it's like a Hawaii shirt or a Hawaiian shirt. But when you get close, you see it's got power tees and it says Tennessee on it. And it's, oh, dang, I thought that was a Hawaiian shirt. That's a Tennessee shirt. Where'd you get that? I've had so many people ask me that.
Yeah, it's unique. Got people asking about the O-line of this year. I'm a little bit concerned about it.
Yeah.
Partially because, we did lose a couple of really good players. One was the top 10 pick, he was kind of magical. And he made, he made Will Anderson disappear against Alabama, which is, nobody does that. He did. He was so good. The guy from Miami is going to come in and we'll see how he does. I think we'll be okay because the nice thing about that offense is that we get rid of the ball so quickly that it's really hard to put pressure on the quarterback. Now, Joe has a tendency to hold it a little too much and not to run. And that was the one thing that Hendon Hooker was. He had a sixth sense. He knew when to take off. I mean, he felt that pressure and he would bust through one of those seams and he was very special.
Now, he could sit in the pocket with ice in his veins, but somehow he had that, like I said, the pocket presence, and then off he'd go if he had to, or he'd get rid of it right as he was getting hit. But, he was, I don't know. I don't see how they could be as good as they were last year.
It's hard to say. Like I said, that the other thing that offense
Maybe they will
does,
be. I don't know. Hopefully I'll be pleasantly surprised. But
I think we're going to be fine at offensive line. The other thing that offense does, Chilmont, is that once we get rolling, once we get a first down, then we're on them. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you what defensive linemen, and I've heard a bunch of them have said this, after 4 plays, those defensive linemen, they're done.
yeah,
They need out. They need to go get a breath of air. And you can't do that with our offense because we keep the same set of people in there, so they can't swap out. So after you get that first down and you run another play, 4 plays, that defensive line can't pressure him anymore. Now, the edge guys probably still can, but the guys up the middle, that was the one thing that I kept waiting and waiting for Georgia, is that if we could have got on a roll and quit those stupid offsides because of their crowd noise, we could have slowed down that defensive line, because we stopped everybody's defensive line because they got exhausted. We couldn't do that because we kept having offsides, and then they got to swap people out, and we got no rhythm going, and that really hurt us. And that was the only team that was able to do that. South Carolina did a little bit, but they couldn't stop us either.
Yeah, we stopped way too many of our own drives, and that was terrible. And then the defense, with bad as the defensive backfield was last year, we couldn't. Yeah, I mean, but they're an unusual team. I mean, they've been the most dominant team the last 2 seasons.
Well, that big 350-pounder up the middle that kept getting into Hendon's lap.
Yeah.
Once we'd have got past 4 plays with him, he'd have been done. He would not have been able to invade our line anymore, but he kept doing it because he was fresh.
Yeah, too many 3 and out.
Breather, because when they have to march off that 5 yards, well, that's an extra minute for him to rest and get recharged. We needed to get him winded, because those 350, 380-pound guys, they don't last very long. You know, they're electric for a play or 2 or 3, but after that, they're done. They're gassed.
Yeah, I mean, they're so big. I mean, there's only so much stamina they got. And, that's where we wore a lot of teams down last 2 years.
I agree with here. Tracy Scott says Joe needs to pull the ball in and run too. I totally agree with that. And I know he's working on that. If you saw in the spring game, he did that 2 or 3 times, and he looked fast. They said he's lost 10 pounds. Now, I can tell you, Milton is very fast for his size, and he's incredibly strong. You saw him do those backflips. 6'5" guys don't do backflips. I can tell you, Anthony Richardson can do them.
Yeah,
I've never seen too many that could, and Joe Milton can, no problem at all. He makes it look. He looks like a 5'5" guy doing them. He
was actually at the in Greenville, Tennessee, the Boys and Girls Club, their annual thing they have. They usually have a guest speaker, usually from Tennessee Sports or something. They had Dale Murphy one year, but they had Joe Milton there, and one of my buddies, Jake Bowers, you know him, John, and I think you do. Anyway, he and his wife, he and his wife went, and they got a picture with him, standing with him. And Jake's about 6 feet tall, and I'm 6'2", but he's standing next to Joe. They both look like children.
Yeah, he's a big dude.
He's huge.
He makes Hendon Hooker look small.
Oh, I know. And
he looks like
Hooker is not small. I mean, he looks like a defensive end.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So he could be outstanding. We'll see what happens with him. I'm concerned about the 3 and outs with him. That's because, and he likes to sit in there a little bit too much.
Yeah.
Which concerns me. We've got 2 tight ends that could be the Princeton Fant. Now, Princeton Fant was kind of the Swiss Army knife guy. He could run. He could do all. I don't think we'll have the problem.
Get blocked.
Well, you know what? We've got that freshman running back that's like 250 pounds. That he looked good in his highlights. I think that guy can get you that yard or 2 when you need it on the goal line.
Yeah. Our running back. Yeah, the running back room looks really good.
I think we're outstanding in the running back room. And then here's the other thing. That Cam guy, Cam Selden.
Oh,
I don't know what they're – that guy could be magical at times, if they find the right spots for him,
Yeah.
he could be something. Here's a guy bringing up McCaskill. I'm sorry. That's a guy that's got an NFL rating, that's got like a 5th or 6th round NFL rating that we got out of the transfer portal. He might look, he's fast. That dude's got speed. He might be a guy that's going to be very interesting because we like to use tight ends in our offense. We like to use them.
That was a mistake in the past. We didn't use them near enough.
Well, crap, you can't even compare anything to the past. You had Jeremy Pruitt, who took over the offense the last 2 games. He doesn't know anything about running an offense. He proved that.
Yeah.
3-7. That guy, did you see where he took a job as a PE teacher, man, back in his high school where he was. His dad is I think his dad's the head coach, and I think his wife took a teaching position because they got to go back to work, man. It's just the reality. They got to make money.
Well, I mean, you'd think that it saved up some, but
think what they spent on legal fees.
Yeah, that's it. And
I guarantee you they spent over $1 million in legal fees plus taxes. He made $4 million, but $2 million of that goes to taxes. Then he had a manager, and he probably spent a lot of money while he was rich, and he hadn't made any money in 2 years, not a dollar. Well, I'm sorry, no, he worked for the Giants for a little while.
Yeah, he made a couple $100,000 there, I'm sure. But
he probably made $500,000, I'd say.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel bad for him as far as that goes, but he made his bed. Of course, he wasn't doing anything that anybody else wasn't doing at the time, and he was just, unfortunately, he was pretty stupid about it and got caught.
It might have been the best thing that ever happened to us because look what we got.
Yeah, at the time it felt like the world was ending, and for Tennessee sports, because we've been in the wilderness for 15, 20 years. And, then Heupel comes along and the basketball coach and then the baseball coach, and turns out the Lady Vols have moved up. So all our main sports are now some of the best in the country.
Yeah, we're doing we've got the #1 sports university in the country, according to CBS. They just ranked them for the first time, and we rank #1 because we're really good at football, baseball, basketball, women's basketball, women's softball. I mean, all the main sports, men's and women's, we're killing it.
Yeah.
I mean, two of the teams went to the World Series. The 2 basketball teams went Sweet 16, and the football team finished #6 in the country. That's outstanding.
Yeah, 11-2 is huge, and especially after all those years of frustration, it's just so sweet.
Here's a good point. So glad we landed Danny White. Danny White has been outstanding.
Danny White, he's the
guy that he's the guy that brought Heupel in.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing that's nice about him, Wilmot, is Danny White is a basketball guy too. Rick Barnes, at some point, he'll retire in probably 3 or 4 years. Danny White's the perfect guy to get a basketball coach for you.
Yeah, because he knows the game.
Well, he's got 2 brothers that are great basketball coaches. Yeah, hey, he's known for finding great basketball coaches, so we're fine there with Rick Barnes, and then the next guy he'll be great. And I'm super excited about the basketball team because it appears to me, based on the transfer portal guys he brought in, that he's going to go heavy offense. Now, he'll always play great defense. That's just in his DNA. Yeah. But he's brought in a couple of guys that are big-time offensive dudes. So
that's what I think
we're going to see. I think we're going to see a lot more scoring than we've seen in the past from him, because I think he's realized you can only go so far with the defense. It's not 1989 or 1999 anymore. You've got to score, whether it's basketball or football. You've got to score.
You've got to have consistent shooting, and we just haven't had enough consistency in the shooting. We have hot games, but then we'll have a cold game and you're out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happens in the big dance. But I think we should be better than last year. Potentially,
we'll see. It's going to be interesting. We're going to be good every year. That's just a fact. I'm going to tell you who everybody's talking about, and this is a guy that I thought last year he's a star in the making, is Toby Awaka. That guy, that guy's got the fundamental DNA to be a great basketball player. He's 6'8", 250. He's a monster out there too, and he doesn't have an ounce of fat on him. And you could see, even though he was a freshman last year, that he's got some offensive skills and he's a rebounding machine. I mean, every time he's in the game, he gets a rebound. He's incredibly efficient on the boards. Yeah. And he just played in some big series where he made this top team, and he was one of their best scorers. So I think Toby Awaka is going to be a true breath of fresh air this year.
We need him.
I think he's going to have a lot of doubles.
Yeah,
if he plays at least 20 minutes a game, he's going to get 10 rebounds. He is just going to. How is he not?
Yeah, we're just one great consistent shooter. And then we've got Muscovy coming back. He was pretty much our best shooter last year.
Yeah, if he can get open, that's the key. If they put a quick guy on him, that can be a little bit tricky with him.
Yeah, they need to work some kind of screen specifically just for Muscovy so he can get open. Because he won't shoot if he's not open.
Who's that? Who? Oh, Muscovy, yeah. Well, he's not quite quick enough. He's quick, but he's not quite quick enough if they put their best defender on him.
Yeah.
James is coming back. That's going to help us with our defense. James is also a fantastic free throw shooter at the end of the game. He shoots over 90%.
That is another place that hurt us last year.
That is big, having a 90% guy. You've got Muscovy and him are both about 90. So you can have them in at the end of the game every time, and you're golden.
Once we lost to Ziegler at the end of the year last year, we were done at the
That was a shame. That was a shame.
Hey, we got
Ziegler coming back.
Because he was 90% at the foul line. He was our best foul shooter. And
plus he could handle the ball so well.
Plus nobody was faster bringing the ball down the court. And occasionally he'd get out of control. But he was a big loss when he went down. That hurt. So I think we definitely go further in the NCAA tournament if he's healthy.
This De Leon guy, I'm hearing a lot about him. I've not seen. See, he redshirted last year, I believe. I think I've got that name right. He's supposed to be special.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be very interesting on the basketball court to see what happens. But
I keep my glasses on. I can't read these super chat things.
Yeah, these are the comments.
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got here. Oh, Gainey. Yeah, they brought in Gainey. He shoots over 40% from three.
Yeah.
And brought him in. Then they got another guy. I can't remember his name. He came from, I want to say North Dakota or something, but I saw his highlights. The guy he's a freak. The guy is like 6'5", 6'6". He can shoot from outside, but then he can dunk from the foul line.
Oh, wow.
So he's very interesting. He scores about 20 points a game. Looks like a guy he's gonna wind up in the NBA. He's one of those top dudes.
Yeah, dunking from the foul line, that wouldn't fire people up in Thompson Bowling at all.
No, not a bit. But I mean, everything's going well as far as sports are concerned right now. It's hard not to be really excited all the way across the board. Again, Bennett Warren, I would love to get that guy because we've already got 2 4-stars recently on our offensive line. I feel great about where our recruiting class is. Yeah, it's ranked like 9th or whatever. We've got some good dudes. I'm telling you, not only are they very athletic, but they're good folks. I can tell from the interviews with them that, they're not going to be a problem. And that's the thing about Josh Heupel that I'm really liking a lot is the fact that he's not bringing in problems. He's bringing in solutions.
Yeah, he's going after character guys, but also talented character guys. And I don't blame him. We talked about it the last time we did this. That 3 o'clock in the morning phone call, if you're a head coach, just makes your stomach flip inside out. And if you can avoid that, it's so much the better. It's so much better for team chemistry. It's so much better for the coaching staff. So much better for the team. The overall chemistry and the overall, what do they call it? While the recruits talk about the culture, it's just uplifting for everybody.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Here's a question from Stingray. Do you plan on doing a live stream for any of the games? I am planning on a lot of different stuff, and there may be some of that involved. I'm just learning this live stream thing, and I'm really liking it. Now, I don't want people to think I'm going to quit doing my regular videos, because I'm not. I really enjoy that, even though it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
I enjoy the creative process of the regular videos, and they're fun. But yes, I do like the live stuff, and I'm going to be doing more live because it's just fun. It really is. It's more laid back. It's a little bit more freewheeling, and I can kind of talk about whatever I want as far as Tennessee sports is concerned, which is kind of fun. I'm not really I feel less pigeonholed.
Well, that's and I can be like, I could be at one of the games or at a tailgate or something like that, and we can do exactly what we're doing now.
Yeah, as long as you got your phone, that'll be fun. I've got a lot of plans, Stingray. I got a lot of plans. It's just a matter of
if we can make it work.
I hate coming on to do a live like I did the first two. I thought I stunk at them. I was very disappointed with my visuals. Like, I've got this fixed now to where you noticed I'm not bleeding in and out of the background and all that. I had to fix that. I was making a technical mistake there. Stuff like that drives me nuts. I can't stand that. I look so amateurish when I do. I mean, I am an amateur. I mean, let's be real about that. I'm not a pro, but I like to at least look like I halfway know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to get better at this live stuff, and hopefully y'all are seeing some improvement. I don't look quite so clueless, but I'm working on it.
Well, even, even if it was just coming on your live for 5 minutes or adding it to part of a video, if I was at one of the games, I could just sit there with my phone and have the game going in the background, and I think everybody would get a kick out of that. Hey, it's, 15-0 or whatever. What do you want to talk about, John?
We'll work about different things. I'm going to show I'm going to share a screen on this for just a second here. This is something that's very interesting to me. It says new data shows Tennessee's surge into top financial tier of college athletics. Yeah, the reason that interests me so much, that has to do with Danny White. And that's kind of it's a little bit of a boring subject, but here's why it's not boring. Let me come back to live here and get rid of this for a second. Stop sharing. There we go. And they went from they took in $154 million in 2021 total revenue for sports, which was 18th in the nation, which was a tremendous improvement. Yeah. Last year they hit $203 million, so they had an almost $50 million improvement. A 33% increase in 2022, which moved up to number 5 nationally. And I don't know what we're going to do this year. Depends on the season probably, but Danny White's got the money coming in there like crazy. And what that's going to mean is obviously better facilities. It's going to mean better recruiting, more money for recruiting to be able to, bring folks in, do all that. Of course, they'll have to deal with the rules and the guidelines of what NCAA stuff they got to deal with, but yeah, they've got the money. And they also, here's very important, they went from 18,000 donors that were donating at least $5,000 a year plus, they've got some $1 million a year folks, to 28,000. So they went from 18,000 donors donating at least $5,000 to 28,000. Wow. That's a 60%, almost 60% increase in number of donors. And that's why you're seeing the football facility getting improved. You're seeing the baseball park. They're spending a ton of money on the baseball park.
Baseball, I'm telling you, is so fun. And number one, you got great weather for the most part. It's not freezing cold like it is in November and into December. But, they're just fun to go to. And, you get a bunch of home runs. You get all kinds of fun. And great food, and I'm somebody who loves baseball anyway. I always did. We used to watch with our dad years ago. I don't know how many Braves games we watched with him, but I love doing that, and still love baseball. Love going to baseball games in Greenville when we had the minor league team there. Those were
folks making some nice comments. Appreciate that, guys. I'm trying.
Thank you.
I'm trying. I'm just, like I said, I'm learning this live stuff, and I'll get better. I'm trying to get better each show. like I said, at least I don't look like a knucklehead floating, like a floating head like I was last week when I did this. I look back, and the other thing is I was looking down the whole time. I was like, what was I looking at? I was like this floating. It was ridiculous. Like, you got to at least look up and see what you're doing, knucklehead. So anyway, it's coming along. It's coming along. It's like anything. One does not fly into flying. One must walk first.
Yeah. And I just had plumber just left, installed a new dishwasher. He was here half the day, but otherwise I'd have had something on the grill going. And
that'd been fun. Yeah, Wilmot has his own YouTube channel where he does Wilmot was a competitive barbecue guy for a while, and he makes some of the best smoked barbecue. I'm talking wings. Gosh, you've done several videos. You did a prime rib that was amazing. And I'm going to attach one of Wilmot's videos to the end of this. Now, I won't be able to do it until I can get into YouTube and make a couple of changes. But I'm going to attach one of his videos at the end of this live because he does some outstanding stuff. I may put the wings. Now, I know you're going to redo the wing one, but I may put that original wings one on there.
Yeah, that was my first one. That was a terrible video.
It was fun, though.
And the wings actually turned out great. But
they were outstanding. They were smoked wings on the grill.
Yeah.
And I mean, they looked fantastic.
Yeah. And I had, it was like an old, cheap camera, and I had no mic or anything like that. I was yelling at the camera, but the wings really did turn out good. And I had, of course, my son trying them out, and he loved them. So
yeah, they look good.
I'll do those again. I'll do.
What was it you did? You did you did last week. No, it was a couple of weeks ago. That was so good.
Pork.
Oh my gosh. I had I'm telling you, that was the best pulled pork. And I'm not saying that because you're my bro. I'm telling you, that was the best pulled pork I've ever had. And then I had to have it the next day because I had extra. And you told me to put it in aluminum foil at 300 degrees in an oven. Otherwise, it turns into beef jerky in the microwave, which is what I always used to do. I was like, I never can have it the next day. And it was so good.
No, do not microwave any barbecue the next day. It sucks all the moisture out of it. And if you keep it wrapped up in just aluminum foil or one of those little disposable aluminum pans covered with aluminum foil in the oven or toaster oven, or even just you can do it on the stove in a small pot, put a tablespoon of water in there, and then mix in some barbecue sauce and just stir it in there, medium heat, no more than that, and just warm it through, and it'll still be tender and juicy and good. Or just my favorite thing is just, I'll take a couple of handfuls of it for like a couple of sandwiches and just wrap it up in a piece of aluminum foil and stick it in my toaster oven at 300 for like 15 minutes. It comes out like I just pulled it an hour ago.
Yeah, it does. It said, who's the better golfer? Actually, the best golfer in our family is my oldest brother, which is Junebug. Junebug just missed qualifying for the British Senior Open by 2 shots. He actually flew over to London, England, and tried to. Where was it? Was it in Scotland or England?
It was in England, but it was actually in Wales, which is like the west coast of England.
Yeah, he missed it by 2. He actually played in it and finished like 30th the year before and won like 20 grand.
Yeah, was that 2 years ago?
It might have been 2 years ago. I remember he was 5 under on the on the leaderboard, and I was going to throw up. I was so nervous for him, but excited at the same time. That was so much fun seeing him on that first leaderboard like that. And they were talking about him. They're like, who is this guy? Who is this guy? He keeps making birdies.
He was like 6 under at one time, right behind Bernhard Langer.
Oh yeah,
I couldn't believe. I was texting everybody I know. Holy crap! Turn on the Golf Channel, and they actually showed him on the Golf Channel a couple of times, and he had a great story with a couple of guys who were following him, and he said I think they were like soccer hooligans, but they were really into him, and every time he'd hit one, they were screaming, "Oh, brilliant shot, Walt!" And
Junebug's the best one of us 3. I'm the second best, I would have to say. And actually, I played in a 4-man scramble Wednesday. That's why I couldn't do a live of the non-commitment of Kai Bates. God, I wanted that guy to commit to us. I'd have done a live one there, but we were playing in a tournament, and it's the first 4-man scramble we've won all year. which I think we finished second, was the best we'd done prior to that. But we shot 9 under for 9 holes. And the last shot was a par 3 because it's a scramble. You just start on whatever hole you pick. And I got real lucky. I hit the ball 10 inches from the cup on a par 3 and got closest to the hole. And that was and we wound up winning by 1. So, but Wilmot hits it really good. His putting is a little bit suspect.
That's a nice way of putting it. My putting sucks.
Yeah, your putting. It's not good.
I'm not good. You stink.
Yeah, it's not good. You stink.
Now I can hit it. Now I can hit it pretty good. I can drive it pretty good.
He hits it great. He hits it dead down the middle, straight as can be. I'm telling you,
good iron shots, and
he hits the ball incredibly straight.
But yeah, my putting. I got to get with Junior and work on my putting now that he's back in town. So
they got a guy at Costco. That's one of your favorite places, Wilmot. You love the Costco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I do need to have Junebug back on the show. Junebug likes being on the show. He's the one that pushed me to do a channel.
Yeah.
He wants to do live before the shows and all this stuff. I mean, Junebug fancies himself a sports commentator.
Yeah.
And he actually is pretty darn good at it.
Yeah.
He's actually, I mean, he sounds like one of those guys. He really does.
Dan Patrick or somebody like that.
Well, I can tell you nobody has watched more sports than Junebug. Nobody. And he goes to every single ball game. I don't care if it's in Liechtenstein. He'll be there for the Vols. Basketball, football, baseball. He went to the World Series, went to the College World Series. It does not matter. If it's the Vols, he's there.
Yeah, they tailgated a bunch of away games usually every year. And and then their tailgates are legendary at the home games. They'll have 2, sometimes 3 TVs going. They have generators. They have chafing dishes with all kinds of different foods, full bar and all that. And yeah, they do not kid around.
Well, they start at 6 a.m. The game can be at 3 or 7 o'clock or noon. They start at 6 a.m. By 8 a.m., they're set up.
Yeah.
And it can be a 7 o'clock game, and they're there at 8 a.m. with everything set up. And I'm like, what are you people doing? It's a whole process. It's a day. It's something they celebrate and they look forward to. And they do set up 3 TVs. They set up a buffet, and they set up games. They're over there with the board games, throwing the the
cornhole
thing, the cornhole. They're doing all that
throwing
crap.
The football around.
Yeah, they've got 3 different games going, and it's like this outdoor party scene. So I'm going to be going to some of that too. So I have not figured out what all I'm going to do. I'm probably going to do some live if it's away, but I'm also planning on going to some of the games with Chilmont and Junebug.
I know what I will try to get, and I was able to get one. I think it was year before last. I got for their parking sticker that they've got, the lot that they always do, and where they have their tailgate.
Yeah.
I got a parking sticker online for that lot.
Ooh, that'll be good.
It'll be hard to get this year because we're all tickets are hard to get and all that because we're so good. But I can't guarantee I'll do that. But if I can get a good a parking pass, that's really all I need.
I may very well go to some of those games too, and I'll probably go up there. Doesn't Boogie Bentley do something up there in that garage and have like a lot of YouTubers up there? I may go up there and spend some time doing that too. I'm going to try to experience all this, and I wouldn't mind going up and seeing what those guys are up to too. I think that'd be fun.
I bet they're probably in that big G10 lot.
I believe that's what they do. They do some sort of a live thing there. So I might go up there and see because I think
it's just up Nayland Drive from where Walt and Mary tailgate there. So
yeah, I'm going to be doing some shows with Boogie coming up when we get closer to the season, and I think BVD is going to be on there with us too. We're going to do like some 3-guy deal, so that's going to be fun. We'll be live on Boogie's channel, then BVD's, and then mine. So we're going to try some of that, and that'll be fun. But I may go up and see all those guys during the game, especially if they're going to do a live before. That would be super fun, and you and I'll go up there and check all that out and see the guys because I've never met them in person. I've never met Boogie or BVD in person. I've just met them like this.
Yeah, just online.
Yeah, and I've watched a lot of their stuff, and I'd like to meet some of those other guys like Coach Jay. He seems to be very knowledgeable about football, and he knows more about it than I do when it comes to the technical aspects of it. And I've watched some of his stuff, and he's fun to watch. So you just never know who you're going to run into. I mean, it's a small world when it comes to Tennessee Vols.
Well, I know you talked about it on your channel, but when we went to the orange and white game, there was several people came up to you and said, "Hey, aren't you Sports Talk Jay?" And I said, "Yeah."
Yeah,
and,
yeah. Well, that was a spring game, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, that was the spring game. And yeah, I said, "You're a famous man now, John."
Well, I got to watch out if one of them is wearing one of those Florida hats. There's
yeah.
no telling me come up and attack me.
Yeah.
Or Alabama. I got to.
They get it up. They get that from all corners. So nobody really stands out at that because everybody hates them.
Yeah. Well, they deserve it.
Yeah.
We got to win that game at the Swamp, man. I'm telling you.
Man.
Do you know how much grief I'm going to take if we lose from the Florida fans? Because I've worn them out for a year.
That's
almost a year. I've worn them out.
That's the linchpin game of the season right there.
It is. I'm telling you, if we win that game, we're on our way. If we lose that game, it's going to be heartbreaking. And look, I'm at 60%. The Swamp at 7:00 at night is brutal. I don't give a crap if they got Graham Mertz or whatever his name is. I know he's not some great quarterback, but he'll put on his Superman cape that night, like every Florida dadgum quarterback does when they play us.
Yeah, no, he'll be Joe Burrow.
He'll be Danny Werfel.
Oh yeah. What'd they go for it on fourth and one time with Spurrier, 4th and 26 or something like that, and made the first down? I'll never forget that. That's why I hate Spurrier so much. That's why we hate Florida. Carolina jackpot.
Yeah, that's Mr. Jones there.
Yeah.
Carolina sometimes pops in here. He's mad that the Vols are so pumped up about this season. He doesn't understand that we should, especially since Carolina beat us, but he's not going out on a limb and saying Carolina's going to beat us this year. I think he's concerned, as he should be, because when they come in, I'm telling you, if you think it's going to be as bad as the Alabama game, it's going to be as bad as when Florida was here. When Carolina shows up, woo, son.
Yeah, there's blood in their eyes for that.
Oh my gosh.
They're going to find out. Neyland Stadium is not what it used to be 4 or 5 years ago.
It's going to be wild.
Neyland Stadium, I promise you, there's teams dreading to come to Neyland Stadium.
Yeah. There's revenge is going to be, well, as they say, revenge is a dish best served cold.
Yeah, we serve it hot in Neyland.
But it's going to be served hot that night. I can promise you.
It's served with fireworks.
We're going to have fried chicken.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. I cannot wait for that game. And I tell you what, if I was South Carolina, I would be nervous about that game because I'm nervous about the Florida game.
Oh, those Carolina guys are hearing footsteps, no question.
Yeah, I'm not as nervous as Carolina should be about coming to see us, because it'd be one thing if Florida had – how does Florida not have an outstanding quarterback? Please explain to me how the crap they don't have a good quarterback. It makes no sense to me. It's not like Florida's some hack team.
No.
They're a big-time program. They got NIL money. How did they not go to the transfer portal and get some guy that's outstanding? And Ole Miss picks up 3 or 4.
The problem was they blew it with that 5-star guy, and that probably turned away some of the guys they might have gotten in the transfer portal.
Rashada. Oh, yeah, Rashada. Oh, I've still got that contract, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
And I think
I owe you $12 billion.
That was the one. That's what cost them. I think that's what hurt them the most.
Yeah.
That contract. And I don't know whether, it might have been the paper they used, but this is Charmin. This is the best money can buy, so it should have been fine. And it had the logo. You don't know what I had to go through to get this contract.
Yeah,
but for some reason, it didn't pan out for him. It didn't. I don't know. So Rashad is still looking for that $13 million. I think he's probably needs that contract. I'll probably be approached by his attorney at some point. He'll need that contract for the lawsuit. I wonder if they settled that. I've not heard a word if they settled that or what they. There was obviously a signed contract at some point.
Yeah, that's. I think the dad was heavily involved in that too. I don't know to what extent, but
well, he's at Arizona State now.
Yeah. So
we'll see how he does. But even still, how did they not? They wound up with Graham Mertz, and I'm sitting here. I looked at his numbers. The guy's throwing like 50%. Low 50s, and he's not a dual threat guy, and he throws interceptions.
yeah.
Oh, here's what it is. Billy Nay Payer. Yeah, that may be the problem.
Who's that? Mr. Jones is nice. Well played, sir.
Oh, USC junior. That upsets Jackpot. He does not like being called USC junior. Do not tell him that. He'll get tore up. That upsets him.
It's like Tennessee's. There's only one UT, and it's Tennessee. Texas, you need to shut up about that.
Texas smexus.
Yeah, you're right, Tim Dewberry. Florida didn't pay up.
Oh, and by the way, the offensive lineman that hopefully we get Monday.
Yeah,
he's the number 20. He's the number 100 player in the country. Well, he's the number 25 player in Texas, which tells you why they've got so many great recruits in Texas.
Wow.
When a top 100 guy is the number 25th player in the state. Jeez.
Maybe once they get in the SEC, we can pull some guys from out of Texas. Would be nice.
Yeah, well, we never. This would be a good one.
Never had much of an in there.
I'll tell you what, this right here would be a good one. And I've got a good feeling about this one because of what he said. Him saying that it was by far the best visit he's had, and then saying, "Hey, I'm ready to commit." So it's either us or Michigan. Why would you go to Michigan? Why Michigan? Give me a break. What else I wanted to talk about? Jim Harbaugh got suspended for 4 games over a dadgum cheeseburger.
The hamburger?
Literally a cheeseburger. He bought 2 hamburgers for these recruits at the Brown Jug, which is some big deal up there in Michigan land. And he forgot he had bought it. I guess when the NCAA asked him about it, he got amnesia, and they didn't buy that. So, and probably what happened is Harbaugh is kind of arrogant, and he's being questioned by the NCAA. First of all, he wants to be back in the NFL. That's where he wants to be, but he wants control over player personnel, and no team will give him that. They're not
going to either.
The Raiders should have, but they won't, because no owner and GM wants to do that, because that takes away their fun. That's the whole purpose of their life, as a GM, is player personnel. He wants to be the cook, and he wants to pick the ingredients like every coach does, but most coaches don't get to do that. So that's why he's not in the NFL. So he's being questioned by the NCAA. He's already annoyed by it, and they're asking him about cheeseburgers. And, I know how that guy thinks. He's over there going, what am I dealing with this crap? I don't know if I did that, blah, 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 blah. And just kind of shoot him away. And that probably irritated him. And, he kind of probably looked down his nose at him, and they thought, okay, big boy, guess what? You messed up. We got you now. And so they're putting a 4-game suspension on him, and they're rubbing his nose in it.
Yeah. You don't thumb your nose at the cops.
That's pretty much, that's kind of what I think they took it as. So they're putting the suspension on him, and he's not going to take that well. That's why I think this will probably be his final year at Michigan, because after that, he'll say, I'm not going to deal with this ticky-tack crap anymore.
Well, the first thing I saw about him getting the 4-game suspension, and they're playing the London Silly Nannies 4 times in a row, the first 4 games. But the first thing I saw was a bunch of comments from Michigan fans saying, "Oh, he gets a 4-game suspension. Tennessee just got a slap on the wrist for way worse, blah, 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 blah." And it was all about Tennessee. I said, "Oh, really? A slap on the wrist? Really?"
Yeah, 28 scholarships, a 3-year cloud over us.
28 scholarships. Imagine if Michigan lost 28 scholarships. They'd never make the playoff ever.
Well, here's the thing about the 4-game suspension. They do not play a top 25 team until November. Michigan has one of the weakest schedules imaginable. Like most teams in every conference other than the SEC have weak schedules, because they have weak teams that are just loaded in each conference. Big Ten has they do have a few good teams, which is Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State, and that's it pretty much.
And every year
we've got SEC is a whole different league.
We generally play number 1 and number 2 every year.
let's see.
during the
Here's a
season.
question. It says talking about our defense this year. That is as big a question as the Joe Milton question.
Yeah.
It's a big question. I would say we will improve for two reasons. Number one, we're going to have depth in the secondary. Our defensive line will be fine. It was fine last year. It was terrible in 21. It was good in 22. It's going to be good in 23, probably a little better. The secondary will finally have depth. And we have some talented guys back there, but they're young. We have some older guys that are pretty talented. That's our weak link. I think that will improve probably from 127th to probably 60th or 70th in the secondary. The defensive line will probably stay in the top 20 to 30 because we do stop the run really well. The question is, can we put pressure on the quarterback? We've got some great edge rushers, but they're freshmen.
Well, that's the thing. If we can get some pressure on the quarterback, then that will make it easier for our defensive backs. And that's what we really need to improve our defensive backfield, is to get pressure on the quarterback. I think that would be the most drastic improvement to the backfield, is if we got more 3-and-outs, and which would be huge. Last year, I mean, we get 2 more 3-and-outs a game, and we finished 12-1. And
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, just a fact.
And
just a fact.
So, who knows what we can do if we also have a good defense. Like you said,
we'll be outstanding. We're going to be outstanding.
I think we also got better at linebacker.
Our linebacker room is getting ready to be fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, we are getting so much better, and that's an important position.
And the nice thing coverage, that's very important.
Arian Carter is going to be all SEC at some point.
Yeah.
Barring some injury, that guy's unique.
Yeah, he's
going to be something else. He is lighting it up in practice. I've heard several of the guys on VolQuest saying that guy's really, really good, and they watch the practices. They've watched him for years. He's going to be something special. I'm hearing nothing but good things about him. I'm hearing a ton about that Dante Thornton. They're saying that guy, it could be something else.
Yeah.
So you've got that going on.
I'm really looking forward to seeing him, and I think he's going to be really good. Plus, we got, like you said, they're young, but we picked up some pretty good edge rushers too.
Picked up 3 outstanding edge rushers. Chandavian Bradley out of Missouri, the #1 player in Missouri. David Hobbs, #1 player in North Carolina. And then Caleb Herring, #1 player in the state of Tennessee. All 3 edge rushers. I think David Hobbs is going to be an interior defensive lineman who's going to also be able to put pressure on the quarterback. So that was outstanding, and that's where we needed help as badly as we did at cornerback. We also picked up 2 4-star cornerbacks, so I feel really good about that. And then this year we've already got Caleb Beasley. I wanted Kai Bates. I'm mad about that. That's the only one that's really got me super irritated, because I thought he was going to pick us, and then we got the dadgum Steve Wiltfong crystal ball kiss of death.
Yeah,
where he puts it up there and takes it down, and I was like, okay, here we go again.
Yeah, he took the crystal ball and hit us upside the head with it.
Absolutely, and that happened with the Arkansas running back, but that one didn't. Yeah. That one didn't sting me that much. I just wanted him for the Thunder and Lightning thing. We're okay at running back, but we needed that cornerback. And dadgum LSU, who they've got more cornerbacks than they don't know what to do with, but he picked them. I think he wanted to come to UT, but he thought LSU puts guys in the NFL at cornerback, and they do.
They do have a bit of
history. I think he made a business decision.
What was the Honey Badger that he still reverberates there?
They got so many defensive backs back there. It's ridiculous. Yeah. Louisiana, and they don't have to compete with anybody at Louisiana. They've got it all. They get the whole dadgum state, and it's chock full of 4 and 5 stars. So it is what it is. Ricky, here's one. Ricky Gibson. That guy runs a 4.40, and I thought Georgia had him, and we got him last year, and that's going to give us a lot of depth. That guy's quick as a cat. Yeah. Long term, he could be really good.
Absolutely.
He's got the speed, and he's got suddenness.
Yeah, speed is what we need. Greasy, fast speed.
Let's see here. Sampson. Yeah, Sampson's going to be going to be something else.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Here's a guy that's a fan of Carolina Jackpot.
Huh.
He is very candid. That's the thing about Jackpot. He wears his emotions on his sleeve a little bit. And that's one of the things I do like about his channel is that he'll tell you what he thinks, man, even if it's good or bad, or he'll even rip on his Gamecocks. It's just the way it is. So it's easy.
You know, that's like you. I mean, even after the South Carolina game, you got out and did shows, which sucked, which was really hard to do. But you got to
painful.
You got to suck it up and take the good with the bad.
Yeah, that was very painful.
That
was just tragic. And I hated the way we lost with the whole situation with Banks and the political deal. And that just, I don't mind, the Georgia loss I can accept because we went out there, we played as hard as we could. The environment stunk for us. Their crowd, their game. I can live with that loss. The Carolina loss, because we kind of imploded internally and politically, that makes me mad. That loss bothers me.
And lost Hendon Hooker in the process too. That made it 1,000 times.
That made me sick.
Yeah, that made me want to puke. That was brutal.
Yeah,
I was at the game. I went to the game with Walt and Mary. That was we tailgated.
Oh yeah, I remember it.
Yeah, and man, that was sickening walking out of that game.
Yeah, that was tragic.
We were just, crap, we're done now. It was so fun while it lasted, and we figured we were done.
Well, here's the thing about the defense. They felt so put upon after that. I mean, everybody was ripping them to shreds for a week straight. I mean, they ripped them. They showed up at Vanderbilt, and they said, you're not scoring a point, Vanderbilt. You are not going to score one single solitary point. And they made sure that they didn't. I remember at the end of the game, they were like, there's no way we're letting these guys score a point. And then they went and shut down Clemson, who had just scored 30-some-odd points on North Carolina in the conference championship, and they shut them down. Now, they moved the ball, but they never hardly scored.
Did they beat Alabama too?
Who's that?
Clemson? Or was it? No, LSU did. LSU did. Yeah,
that's the other thing. The defense did show up at times. They showed up with Kentucky. They showed up at LSU. So they were kind of Jekyll and Hyde, but I don't know.
We struck fast and we put LSU in shell shock.
Well, the big thing that creaked us last year, when the quarterbacks that threw over 400 yards on us, like Rattler and Bryce Young, who's a magician, and then Anthony Richardson threw for 450 yards against us.
They were probably going to cut him before that game, and he had his career game against us.
Yeah, he was struggling.
And then so did Rattler. Rattler got benched at one time, hadn't he?
Oh, you mean Rattler? Yeah. Yeah, Rattler. I thought
the other kid too. The kid in Florida. They were thinking about benching him.
He'd had 2 straight terrible games, and then Rattler had been the worst quarterback in the SEC until we resurrected his career. So
got him in the
here's the thing, Wilmot. A big part of that was having 30 guys leave in 2020.
Oh yeah.
2020 because of the whole Jeremy Pruitt thing. We lost our top 2 linebackers. We lost a ton of defensive backs. We lost a ton. And it was Josh Heupel's coaching ability, his scheme, all of that brought an offense back to life. He couldn't do it with the defense. But our defense is going to be better this year. It just flat out is. It's not going to be way better, but it's going to be better. And that may be all we need.
That's it. And again, it goes back to how Milton plays. If Milton plays good, it's all good. But that's an excellent point, though, losing those 30 players. So technically, and you can make a pretty good argument for it. Yeah, we got hit with 28 scholarships, but we really got hit with 58 scholarships because we lost 30 players just because of Pruitt.
Well, we lost 3 guys that were starters that were outstanding. 2 linebackers and an offensive lineman, and then a bunch of other quality depth pieces on top of that.
Yeah, half the team.
2 running backs that blew up for North Carolina, and I can't remember where the other guy went. But we lost some high quality athletes.
We did.
So that's why it's so shocking that, first of all, we had a winning season that year and could have won 9 or 10 games in 21, and then won 11 games in 22. Nobody saw that coming.
No.
So I had us 9-3, and I thought I was being super optimistic. So
yeah.
Anyway, it's a great time to be a Vol. There's no doubt. We're at just about an hour, Chillmont, so we're going to wrap this up here. Thank you for everybody that came. Looked like we had 200 people at the height of this thing, which is really good for a Friday night. I think that's outstanding.
Yeah.
So it was fun. Wilmot, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Oh,
and I'm going to attach one of Wilmot's barbecue videos. I'll probably do the wings at the end of this. Now, you won't be able to see it because it's live. It'll be probably 30 or 40 minutes before I can even put that on there. But anyway, I thought it would be nice to come on here, talk a little recruiting, talk about the Vols and what's going on financially. A little basketball talk. We got into that.
Yeah.
Which is fun. But it is nice to do the live where we can kind of just freewheel this thing.
Well, hopefully we pick up that kid Monday.
All right. And all you folks that showed up, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And we'll see you on the next one. And Wilmot, we'll see you later, buddy. I'm going to end the podcast. We'll see you next time on Sports Talk Jay.
See you.
All right. Ending broadcast. Here we go.